Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What if I told you that one of the most innovative young inventors in America didn't grow up in Silicon Valley, didn't have a lab, didn't even have high-speed internet, but instead worked from a dusty garage in Dayton, Ohio, with nothing more than broken electronics, duct tape, and a dream? This is the story of Kelvin Walker. And it's not just a story about invention, it's about resilience, vision, and the unstoppable power of a young mind that refused to believe in limits. Kelvin was just 12 years old, a quiet, curious kid from a low-income neighborhood where opportunity rarely knocked twice. His father worked double shifts at a steel plant. His mother cleaned houses to make ends meet. They didn't have a lot, but they gave Kelvin the most powerful gift a parent can offer: belief. Now, while other kids spent afternoons glued to their phones or watching YouTube for fun, Kelvin watched YouTube to learn. He didn't just wonder how things worked. He needed to know. One day, he stumbled across a video showing how to build a solar-powered phone charger. That tiny video lit a spark in his mind. He thought, what if I could build one too? Not for fame, not for money, just for the simple joy of creating something that worked. But Kelvin didn't have access to fancy tools or high-end parts. What he had were a second-hand soldering iron from a garage sale, broken electronics from the local thrift store, a notebook full of sketches, and a mind full of questions. He spent months teaching himself the basics of electrical engineering, using free online courses and library books. Late at night, while the world slept, he was connecting wires, soldering boards, making mistakes, and learning from every single one. Burned fingers? Yep, plenty. Failed prototypes? Too many to count. But did he give up? Never. Because Kelvin understood something that most people forget. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the path to it. Then, one rainy afternoon, it happened. He connected the final wire, set the small solar panel outside, and plugged in his phone. And it worked. The battery began to charge. Slowly, steadily, it worked. Now, you and I might take that for granted. We have chargers, power banks, electricity on demand. But to a 12-year-old boy who built his own from trash and pure willpower, this was magic. That small device, clunky and held together with duct tape, wasn't just a charger. It was proof. Proof that he could create. Proof that he could learn. Proof that even without money, connections, or privilege, he could build his own future. Kelvin didn't stop there. His next project? A homemade water purifier, built using plastic bottles, activated charcoal, and a UV light. He submitted it to his local science fair, not expecting much. After all, many of the other kids had expensive kits and help from tutors. But guess what? Kelvin won first place. That win changed everything. A local journalist wrote a story about him. The article went viral. People across the country read about the boy who built his own future. Tech companies took notice. Donations started pouring in. One company sent him a full engineering toolkit. Another offered mentorship from real engineers. But Kelvin wasn't interested in fame. He had something bigger in mind. By the time he was 15, Kelvin had founded a non-profit called Bright Sparks. Its mission? To teach other kids, especially those from underprivileged communities, how to use basic science and engineering to solve real-world problems. With donated parts and recycled materials, he helped students build solar lamps, basic air purifiers, and even small wind turbines. One of his proudest moments? Helping a group of kids build a solar-powered light system for an elderly neighbor who couldn't afford electricity. Kelvin believed that invention shouldn't be locked behind paywalls or privilege. It should be something every kid could access, and he proved it. Today, Kelvin is 18 years old. He just started his first year at MIT on a full scholarship, but he still runs Bright Sparks remotely. He's currently working on a prototype for a low-cost clean water system designed for rural communities. He's not a millionaire, not a celebrity, but in the eyes of the kids, he's inspired. He's a giant. So what can we learn from Kelvin Walker? It's simple. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need a fancy background. You don't need permission to start. All you need is curiosity, courage, and commitment. Kelvin didn't wait for the perfect moment. He didn't wait until he had everything he needed. He started with what he had, right where he was. And because of that, he didn't just change his life, he's changing others too. So, whether you're a student, a teacher, a parent, or just someone wondering what you can do, remember Kelvin. Remember the boy in the garage who turned duct tape and broken electronics into dreams. Because the truth is, you don't need $1 million to make a difference. You don't need a degree to inspire. And you don't need permission to begin. You just need to believe. Thank you.